Hello, rare breed brotherhood. What truly separates a Sigma from a psychopath, and why do people so often confuse the two? On the surface, both appear detached, mysterious and hard to read, but if you look closer, their core is completely different. One is a mind shaped by self-awareness and discipline. The other is a mask hiding emptiness and manipulation. This is where the real differences begin to reveal themselves. A Sigma moves through life with clarity. He spends time in solitude not to plot against others, but to sharpen his inner world. His quiet nature is born from peace, not from the absence of empathy. A psychopath may also stand apart, but his distance is not for growth, it is for control. Where the Sigma questions himself, a psychopath refuses to. Where the Sigma carries scars as lessons, a psychopath carries them as excuses. Understanding these differences matters because in a world full of noise and distraction, it is easy to mistake independence for coldness or self-control for lack of emotion. You must learn to see the contrast with clear eyes. If you are someone who relates to the Sigma path, take this as encouragement. You are not broken for wanting solitude. You are not strange for valuing peace over recognition. What sets you apart is not a curse, but a gift. This journey is about strength with empathy, freedom with responsibility, and power without cruelty. That is what makes the Sigma rare, and that is why you must never confuse him with a psychopath. Let's dive in deeper, brothers. Number 1. A Sigma reads the room to protect himself, while a psychopath reads the room to exploit others. Have you ever walked into a gathering and immediately sensed the vibe without anyone saying a word? Some people call it intuition, but for Sigmas, it is a survival skill. They read the room the way others read a book. Every tone of voice, every glance, every body shift tells them something. They are not doing it to show off or to gain control. They are simply protecting themselves. Think of it like scanning a menu before ordering. You want to know what you are dealing with before making a choice. A psychopath, on the other hand, is reading the exact same signals, but with a different goal. He is not scanning the menu to decide what will keep him healthy. He's scanning it to figure out what he can devour and how much of it he can take without paying the bill. While a Sigma notices the tension in a conversation and quietly adjusts his place in it, a psychopath notices the same tension and thinks, perfect, let me twist this to my advantage. For example, imagine a workplace meeting. The Sigma is the one silently observing the manager's mood, understanding when to stay quiet and when to speak so he does not get pulled into unnecessary drama. Meanwhile, the psychopath is spotting the nervous intern, already thinking of how to use their fear as leverage to look smarter or more powerful. Both are sharp, but their intentions couldn't be more different. That is what makes the Sigma so unique. He is aware, but he does not weaponize his awareness. He can read the room without turning it into a game of manipulation. It is like the difference between someone checking the weather so they carry an umbrella and someone checking the weather so they can sell umbrellas for triple the price. One is protecting himself, the other is exploiting the storm. The beauty of the Sigma is that his awareness is rooted in self-defense and peace, not in destruction. He proves that being observant does not mean being dangerous. It means being wise enough to protect your own energy. Number 2. A Sigma is invisible when he wants to be, while a psychopath demands the stage, even in disguise. Have you noticed how some people can slide through a whole event without anyone even realizing they were there? That is the Sigma's talent. He has mastered the art of being invisible whenever he chooses. It is not that he lacks presence, it is that he knows when attention is unnecessary. He can be at a wedding, sit through the reception, eat the food, even help the aunties pack extra rice, and still leave with people asking, wait, was he here today? That is the beauty of controlled invisibility. A psychopath is the complete opposite. Even when pretending to be low-key, he cannot resist stealing the stage. He wants eyes on him, admiration directed at him, or at least suspicion centered around him. Imagine someone saying, we are just keeping it simple tonight. The Sigma nods and actually keeps it simple. The psychopath nods, then shows up in the loudest outfit, loudly fake, laughing at every joke, and somehow turning the evening into his personal talent show. Take the workplace as an example. The Sigma finishes his tasks quietly and slips out before the office politics even start. The psychopath finishes half his tasks, then spends the rest of the day planting seeds of drama, making sure everyone notices how hard he has been working. By the end of the week, the Sigma has results and the psychopath has applause, even if nothing real got done. This difference is powerful. The Sigma does not need to be seen to feel fulfilled. His invisibility is a tool, a way of conserving energy and staying focused. The psychopath, however, feels starved without the spotlight. Even his attempts at blending in are exaggerated, like someone whispering so loudly that it still feels like shouting. The truth is, invisibility is strength when it is intentional. The Sigma understands that not every space deserves your presence in full display. Sometimes the smartest move is to walk softly and carry your wisdom quietly, while others trip over themselves, chasing the stage lights. Number 3. A Sigma carries scars as lessons, while a psychopath carries scars as excuses. Everyone has scars. Some are visible, some are hidden, but they all tell a story. The difference lies in what you do with them. A Sigma looks at his scars and says, all right, this hurt me once, but now it has taught me something I'll never forget. Every cut, every disappointment, every betrayal becomes a note in his personal handbook for life. He does not glorify the pain, but he refuses to waste it. If a mistake burned him, he makes sure it never burns him the same way again. A psychopath approaches scars differently. Instead of learning from them, he collects them like trophies and uses them as excuses for bad behavior. He will say, I lie because of what I went through, or I manipulate because life wasn't fair to me. It's almost like giving his scars a microphone to justify every reckless action. While the Sigma is saying, that scar reminds me to never touch fire again, the psychopath is saying, that scar gives me the right to play with fire whenever I want. Think about everyday life. Picture someone who went through a rough childhood. The Sigma version of that person grows cautious, thoughtful, and perhaps more careful with relationships. He might even become the person who makes sure others never feel the same hurt. The psychopath version, however, uses that same background as a pass to mistreat people and escape accountability. One transforms pain into discipline, the other transforms pain into permission slips. It is like falling off a bike. The Sigma patches up the scrape, learns to balance better, and maybe teaches someone else how not to fall. The psychopath keeps showing everyone the scar on his knee while speeding recklessly, only to fall again and say, see, this is why I ride like this. At the end of the day, scars do not define you, they reveal you. To the Sigma, they are lessons carved into skin. To the psychopath, they are excuses carved into a script. One grows stronger, the other just grows stories. Number 4. A Sigma is dangerous when cornered, while a psychopath is dangerous when bored. Danger is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet until the wrong button is pressed. That is the Sigma. Most of the time he's calm, focused, and even predictable in his routine. But when cornered, when pushed into a place where he has no way out, something shifts. He does not explode out of recklessness, he calculates. It is like watching a chess player who usually avoids unnecessary moves suddenly flip the board because he sees no other option. The danger only comes when there is no choice left. Now compare that to a psychopath. He does not need pressure to become dangerous. In fact, boredom itself can trigger him. Imagine a child with too much free time and a box of matches. Nothing good is about to happen. A psychopath creates chaos just to feel alive, even when life is peaceful. He will stir drama in friendships, poke holes in trust, or make reckless decisions just because the quiet feels unbearable. Let's take an everyday example. At work, the Sigma is the colleague who minds his own business until someone tries to publicly take advantage of him. Maybe a manager tries to pin a mistake on him. That calm exterior drops, and suddenly he speaks with precision, exposes the truth, and shuts down the attack in a way that leaves everyone silent. The danger was always there, but it stayed hidden until provoked. The psychopath, on the other hand, might be the colleague who starts unnecessary conflicts just to watch people react. He might throw out a rumor at lunch or intentionally miss a deadline just to watch the chaos unfold. He thrives on tension for entertainment. This is the sharp difference. A Sigma's danger is controlled and situational, like a guard dog that only bites when you cross the line. A psychopath's danger is restless and unpredictable, like a stray dog biting at shadows. One is protective, the other is destructive. The lesson here is simple. Never back a Sigma into a corner unless you're ready for a side of him you've never seen. And never leave a psychopath with nothing to do, because his boredom will become everyone's problem. Number 5. A Sigma believes in freedom for all, while a psychopath believes only in his own freedom. Freedom sounds simple, but it is one of the biggest differences between a Sigma and a psychopath. The Sigma sees it as a two-way street. He values his own freedom, yes, but he also respects the freedom of others. He does not need to control or dictate every move around him because he understands that life works better when people are allowed to be themselves. Think of it like a family dinner. The Sigma will quietly leave the last slice of cake for someone else, even if he wanted it. He does not take it because his freedom ends where another person's joy begins. A psychopath sees freedom like a buffet with only one rule: grab as much as you can before anyone else notices. He is not interested in anyone else's choices or boundaries. He will take that last slice and then eat the neighbors and then complain that people are in his way. In his mind, your freedom does not exist because it threatens his. He acts as if life owes him space and permission and is willing to bulldoze anyone in his path to get it. Imagine a team project. The Sigma works efficiently without micromanaging, trusting his teammates to do their part while keeping his own autonomy intact. He understands that everyone doing their job freely will create the best outcome. The psychopath, meanwhile, will override, manipulate, and corner everyone into doing exactly what he wants, all while insisting it is for the good of the project. Freedom for others is irrelevant, only his control matters. Even in personal life, the contrast is obvious. The Sigma encourages growth, exploration, and independence in his friends and loved ones. He celebrates their wins without jealousy. The psychopath fears independence because it exposes him. He reacts with manipulation or guilt to keep people under his thumb. The Sigma's belief in freedom is rooted in strength and trust. The psychopath's version of freedom is rooted in fear and selfishness. One lifts people up, the other weighs them down. And that is why knowing this difference is crucial. If you value true liberty and respect in relationships, the Sigma is someone you can trust. The psychopath will always see your boundaries as a challenge to overcome. Number 6. A Sigma lets go of control, while a psychopath lives for control. Control is one of those things people think everyone wants, but the truth is, it means very different things depending on who you are. A Sigma knows when to hold it and when to let it go. He understands that not everything in life is meant to be grasped tightly. He might plan, prepare, and work hard, but he does not waste energy obsessing over outcomes he cannot change. It is like cooking a meal for friends. He seasons it perfectly, stirs it carefully, and then lets it cook. He does not hover over the pot, worrying about whether everyone will like it, because he knows some things are out of his hands. A psychopath is completely different. Control is his air. He lives to micromanage, manipulate, and dictate every little detail because uncertainty feels like weakness. He will season the meal, stir it, taste it, re-season it, and then complain if anyone dares add salt. He cannot rest because someone else's choice feels like a personal threat. Even when nothing matters, he finds ways to assert dominance just to remind everyone who is in charge. Take a workplace example. The Sigma leads by example, guides his team, and then steps back. If a project goes off track, he adjusts but does not spiral into panic. The psychopath, on the other hand, monitors every keystroke, every email, and every interaction, believing that if he cannot control it, failure is inevitable. His obsession creates tension for everyone else, while the Sigma's calm approach actually encourages efficiency and creativity. Even in friendships, the difference is obvious. A Sigma lets people be themselves, understanding that forcing control destroys trust and authenticity. A psychopath cannot handle that freedom. He manipulates, guilt trips, and pressures others because he needs to feel the illusion of control constantly. The Sigma teaches a lesson most people never learn. Letting go does not mean losing power. It is actually the most powerful way to live because it allows space for growth, freedom, and real influence. The psychopath, chasing control like it is oxygen, will always find himself exhausted, frustrated, and surrounded by chaos of his own making. Number 7. A Sigma can cut ties without hatred, while a psychopath cuts ties with pleasure in the damage left behind. Ending relationships is something everyone fears, but the way it happens reveals a lot about character. A Sigma can cut ties with someone and feel no bitterness. He understands that some people belong in your life only for a season, and holding on beyond that only drains energy. He lets go calmly, almost like closing a book after finishing the last chapter. There is no dramatic exit, no public spectacle, no need to make anyone feel small. He just walks away, sometimes quietly, leaving the other person with their own lessons and no unnecessary scars. A psychopath approaches the same situation very differently. Cutting ties for him is a performance. He derives satisfaction from the chaos and the hurt he leaves behind. It is not about self-preservation or growth. It is about power and revenge. He might gaslight, manipulate, or even spread rumors just to make sure the person knows exactly who won. He turns a breakup or falling out into a scene, as if the damage itself is a trophy. Think of it in everyday life. Imagine a colleague who was constantly undermining you. The Sigma will distance himself, avoid unnecessary interaction, and move on to focus on better opportunities. He does not waste time plotting revenge. The psychopath, however, will spend weeks creating drama, whispering behind backs, and maybe even setting traps to watch the other person stumble, all because leaving someone does not feel complete unless there is damage. Even in friendships, the contrast is clear. A Sigma values closure and peace. A psychopath values the impact and the satisfaction of control. One leaves with dignity, the other leaves with a scar. This is a critical difference to recognize. Cutting ties is not about proving anything. For a Sigma, it is about self-respect, boundaries, and focus. For a psychopath, it is about proving power, causing harm, and feeling victorious. One approach builds freedom, the other builds resentment. At the end of the day, learning to cut ties like a Sigma is a skill everyone should aim for. You can let go without carrying hatred or leaving a trail of destruction, and that is a power most people underestimate. Number 8. A Sigma questions himself relentlessly to grow, while a psychopath never questions himself at all. Self-reflection is one of those things most people skip, but it separates a Sigma from a psychopath in ways that are hard to miss. A Sigma constantly questions himself. He looks at his decisions, his reactions, even his failures, and asks, could I have done this better? What can I learn from this? It is not about self-punishment, it is about growth. He treats life like a mirror that sometimes shows what is uncomfortable but always useful. Imagine spilling coffee on your shirt before an important meeting. Instead of blaming the universe or the barista, the Sigma might think, next time I will check the cup or hold it differently. He learns without turning it into a crisis or a story about how life is unfair. A psychopath, on the other hand, never looks inward. Self-questioning is like kryptonite to him. He never asks, did I handle that poorly, or could I have hurt someone by my choices? He believes he is always right, and everyone else is either wrong or too slow to keep up. If the same coffee spills, a psychopath will probably glare at the barista, mutter about incompetence, and use the situation as fuel to reinforce how clever he is compared to everyone else. Accountability does not exist in his world. Think about everyday life. In a team project, the Sigma will take feedback seriously, adjust his approach, and quietly improve his results. He understands that mistakes are lessons, not verdicts. The psychopath, in contrast, will deflect criticism, blame others, and act as if any flaw is evidence of a world conspiring against him. Growth is irrelevant, dominance is what matters. This relentless self-questioning makes the Sigma adaptable, wise, and almost impossible to surprise with failure. The psychopath's refusal to question himself leaves him predictable, stubborn, and prone to repeating the same mistakes endlessly. Humor helps here too. The Sigma might laugh at his own missteps, learning while smiling. The psychopath laughs only at others' missteps, proving to himself he is untouchable. One grows stronger from introspection, the other grows rigid, trapped in a bubble of self-assured chaos. At the end of the day, the ability to question yourself without fear is the Sigma's secret weapon, while the refusal to do so is the psychopath's Achilles heel. Number 9. A Sigma values peace of mind more than victory, while a psychopath values domination more than peace. Victory can feel amazing, but not everyone fights for the same reason. A Sigma values peace of mind above winning. For him, life is not a scoreboard. He does not measure success by who he outshines or who he beats. Instead, he asks, will this make me calmer, stronger, or smarter? If a disagreement or conflict threatens his mental calm, he is willing to step back, walk away, or find a solution that preserves his focus and clarity. Imagine arguing with someone about something trivial, like which pizza topping is better. The Sigma might have a strong opinion, but he is also capable of saying, you enjoy your pineapple, I'll enjoy my pepperoni, no stress. Peace matters more than proving a point. A psychopath is completely different. For him, victory is not about fairness or resolution. It is about domination. He does not care if peace is lost along the way. He wants to feel in control, to assert his superiority, and to make sure everyone around him knows it. That same pizza debate might become a full-blown argument, complete with insults, passive-aggressive remarks, and a sense of personal triumph if his choice is accepted. Peace is irrelevant. Control is everything. Think about everyday life. At work, the Sigma might negotiate calmly during tense meetings, prioritizing solutions that keep the workflow smooth and relationships intact. The psychopath, however, turns the same situation into a competition, focused more on showing dominance than achieving real results. In friendships, the Sigma values harmony and mutual respect, while the psychopath sees peace as boring and compliance as weakness. The Sigma's approach leads to respect, stability, and long-term influence. The psychopath's approach creates fear, tension, and short-lived wins that often collapse into chaos. One is about sustaining life without unnecessary battles. The other is about winning at any cost, even if it destroys the very thing he wanted to control. In the end, valuing peace over victory is not weakness. It is intelligence. It is what allows the Sigma to move freely, think clearly, and grow stronger, while others burn energy chasing fleeting triumphs. A psychopath may win, but only at the cost of his own calm, and that is a cost few truly recover from. Number 10, a Sigma may intimidate without trying, but a psychopath plans intimidation like a weapon. Intimidation comes in different forms, and the difference between a Sigma and a psychopath is all about intent. A Sigma can intimidate without even trying. It is not his goal, but it happens naturally because he is confident, composed, and self-assured. People notice it, sometimes nervously laughing at his calm answers or realizing he is someone who thinks several steps ahead. Imagine a Sigma in a group discussion. He is quiet, listens carefully, and then delivers a point so sharp and clear that the room goes silent. He did not raise his voice or make a show of it. He just made himself heard, and suddenly everyone pays attention. Intimidation in this case is a side effect of competence, not a weapon. A psychopath approaches intimidation very differently. For him, it is a tool, carefully planned and executed to manipulate or control. He will pick apart weaknesses, choose his words like daggers, and create tension deliberately. Imagine a co-worker who waits for you to make a small mistake and then calls everyone's attention to it, all while smiling innocently. That is calculated intimidation. The goal is to make you feel small so he can feel bigger. Take everyday life as an example. A Sigma walking into a meeting might command attention simply by staying composed and speaking with confidence. No theatrics, no one notices him trying. The psychopath, on the other hand, will make a dramatic entrance, deliver a pointed comment, and then subtly remind everyone of their inferiority. He thrives on reactions and carefully measures every move to maximize discomfort. The key difference is authenticity versus strategy. The Sigma's presence is naturally powerful, like a calm river moving steadily and deeply. The psychopath's presence is a trap, a calculated storm designed to control and unsettle. One inspires respect or caution without effort. The other breeds fear intentionally, turning intimidation into a performance. In the end, real strength does not need a show. The Sigma proves it every time, quietly, without a script. The psychopath proves it by creating chaos and watching others react. One empowers himself through skill and calm. The other empowers himself through manipulation and fear. Number 11, a Sigma's calmness invites respect, while a psychopath's calmness hides an agenda. Calmness can be powerful, but the reason behind it changes everything. A Sigma's calmness invites respect. He does not need to raise his voice, act flashy, or prove himself constantly. His steadiness comes from confidence, self-discipline, and experience. People naturally feel that he is reliable, capable, and in control of his own life. Imagine a friend calmly handling a stressful situation while everyone else panics over a missed deadline. The Sigma quietly steps in, organizes the facts, and moves things forward. No dramatics, no guilt trips, just action. That calmness earns trust and respect because it comes from competence and integrity. A psychopath's calmness looks similar on the surface, but it is completely different underneath. His calm is a mask, a calculated tool to hide his intentions. Behind the smile and measured tone is manipulation, planning, and self-interest. He might sit quietly while everyone debates, all the while scheming how to twist the outcome to his advantage. That same friend, calmly listening during a group project, might actually be plotting to take credit for someone else's idea. The calmness is not earned, it is weaponized. Think about everyday life. At work, a Sigma can stay composed during a tough presentation or negotiation, making people respect his authority without demanding it. The psychopath can do the same, but his colleagues might notice subtle manipulation, like selective praise or calculated pauses meant to unsettle. The Sigma's calm is like a sturdy chair that anyone can lean on. The psychopath's calm is like a trapdoor disguised as a chair, comfortable until it drops you into trouble. Even in personal relationships, the difference is clear. A Sigma's calmness fosters security and trust. A psychopath's calmness fosters doubt and tension. One makes people feel safe. The other keeps people guessing, always on edge. The lesson is simple but critical. Calmness can be a gift or a weapon. The Sigma gives it freely without hidden agendas. The psychopath gives it only as a disguise to further his own plans. Learning to see the difference is a skill that protects your energy and helps you recognize true strength from clever deception. In conclusion, have you ever stopped to think about why some people inspire trust and respect effortlessly, while others make you feel tense or on edge without even trying? Understanding the difference between a Sigma and a psychopath is more than just psychology. It is about recognizing the people in your life who lift you up versus those who manipulate or drain you. A Sigma moves through life with awareness, calm, and self-discipline. His power is quiet, his strength is steady, and his relationships are built on trust and respect. He grows through reflection, values freedom for himself and others, and knows when to act and when to step back. A psychopath may appear bold or dangerous, but his actions are often rooted in manipulation, control, and self-interest. His calmness hides agendas, and his charm is often a tool to achieve domination. The lesson here is simple. Learning to see these differences protects your energy and your peace of mind. It helps you make wiser choices about who to trust, who to invest in, and who to keep at a distance. It reminds you that true strength does not need to shout, that power is shown through actions and integrity, and that loyalty earned through respect is far more meaningful than loyalty forced through fear. If you identify with the Sigma way, take it as encouragement. Your quiet strength, your patience, and your ability to navigate life deliberately are not weaknesses. They are rare qualities that set you apart in a world full of chaos and short-sighted ambition. Keep honing your self-awareness, trust your instincts, and never feel pressured to perform for others. At the end of the day, knowing these hidden differences is not just knowledge, it is a map. A guide to understanding human behavior, protecting yourself, and building the kind of life where your energy, time, and loyalty are spent on people who truly deserve them. Recognize the Sigma traits in yourself and let them guide you to strength, clarity, and peace. Thank you for watching, brothers.